rallyfm.net.
Showing the driving as usual. And here comes the leader of Seoul Rally Barbados 2009, Chris Meek, and Paul Nagel, hard on the brakes in the S9 to get through the chicane. Very tidily done. Just a slight clip of the grass. A very determined Chris Meek. Paul Bourne said, we had some interviews done by Damien Best at service yesterday, and in an interview with Paul Bourne said, I am driving exactly the same car as Chris Meek, and I cannot get anywhere near him. That is what a world-class driver is all about. Meek, of course, the current leader of the Intercontinental Rally Challenge, second in Seoul Rally Barbados 2009. Paul Bird in the newest World Rally car ever to come to the Caribbean, the Supercasino.com Focus WRC 07. He's got 20 seconds or so to make up on the leader, and they were, as they went through the previous stage, as we would expect, Meek was quickest on Malvern East. He did a 1:36.78, but Paul Bird was only 11 hundredths of a second off him. A delayed start for Chris Meek with some problems with his rear tyre. Kevin Proctor and Dave Bellaby coming now. Their best position in this event has been fifth in the past in their S7. They were fifth quickest on Malvern before coming to here, describing the stage as very slippy. It's Barbados, what do you expect? Proctor, though, running, I don't think he's ever run as high as third during a Rally Barbados, so he'll be looking for a good result. Here comes the surfer. He's the man chasing Paul Bourne through the chicane. Paul Bourne, Stuart Maloney chasing Proctor. They were third quickest at Malvern. They took, however, only 6/10, because it's the short Malvern this morning. They took only 6/10 of a second, but all you've got to do is be chipping away over the 10 stages today, and if you're taking 6/10 of a second or so over 10 stages, you're picking up 6 or 7 seconds, and that's the sort of time that Paul Bourne needs to get in order to catch Dave Proctor. Trevor Manning in the new bodied and first in effect new rally car he's had for a while in the Escort WRC. He was only 8 seconds behind Paul Bourne, but if we could just move down north on the screen just slightly, I just want to see what Micey did Micey didn't do a particularly good time at Malvern, so he started off with a little bit of a problem. Jeff Panton from Jamaica, this car rallied by Colin McRae in its day. Colin won the Acropolis and the Cyprus Rally in this original spec Focus, and I still think that looks much nicer than the new pointy Focus 07s. Jeff Panton 6th overnight, 5 seconds behind Micey, less than a second ahead of Roger Hill. And Panton was suffering from a lack of grip. He seems to have been having tyre problems all weekend as Jeff Panton. Here's the car that won last year when Chris Meek drove it. Now, Roger Hill, Graham Gittins, Roger having really settled into driving this car, and now he's got a car which is much more on a par with the rest of the cars in the island. He really is now up there and knocking on their door. Good to be driving in daylight again, he said. We got reports at the end of Malvern, which is why I know these things. And next up, the highest placed two-wheel drive car, Ian Warren, brother Robert now sitting alongside him, moving up from modified 6, which he dominated. You're not meant to do that with the chicane. That proves that a Suzuki Swift is wider than a Peugeot 206 by about 1.5 inches, I would say. Come on, Malvina, get to it. He managed to knock it over and twizzle it round as well. No, come up right. No, I think just for a second, the chicane is moving out of the way. Oh, that'll cheer Barry Gale up. A wiggle as if it's there, Barry. Barry Gale lying in 9th place overnight.
He'll win this stage.
Big cheer for Malvina. Good girl, well done. The lady in the hat. Where would we be without her? All at home, probably, because there'd be no crowd control and the rally wouldn't be happening. So then, Barry Gale, he had some problems, punctures yesterday morning and dropped well down the order, so he'll be happy to be up where he is now. Steve Perez had a bad day. We've got to slot him in here because of the speed of his car. He has restarted this morning, despite yesterday having been a miserable day for him. The fly-by-wire turned into a spin-by-wire during yesterday. He's got to claw back 11 minutes if he's going to get anywhere near the front end of the field. He's had 3 fourth places in a row, and I think he'd be grateful to get a 4th place this year after all his evaluations of yesterday. But he's yesterday missed a round of the National Championship in England, as did Paul Bird. They both missed the Seven Valley stages, and they dropped behind Marcus Dodd, who won yesterday, and I didn't bother to ring them and tell them that this morning because it would only hack them off. The leader of Modified 8A, Neil Armstrong and Barry Ward of the Show of V-Power Evo there. No interest from him, no remarks from him at the end of the previous stage, but he's going to be aiming to chip away a little bit at the top 10 and move himself a little bit further up. Trefnol, the overnight leader of Group N in the Evo, and he takes the chicane very violently. Craig Yearwood sitting alongside him on the notes. His lead in Group N is less than 3 seconds overnight, and they had good stage because we haven't got times for them from Malvern, but he says he had a good Malvern, so we'll be happy with that. Hopefully he'll have a good run through here as well.
rallyfm.net